around, so you definitely gotta be prepared for that. Like you're usually gonna be playing light, but then there's these sudden pangs of triple jumps, and some hands here and there, and you really gotta be prepared for all the density, the variations of density that the charge throws at you.
Yeah, and okay, so
Oh, the
232
solo.
is not too far up from 230 218, but now here's a solo just to add insult to the injury.
Oh
If you
yeah,
can't
definitely.
with this map.
That guitar riff was crazy. And now there's one of the more anchory sections.
Yeah, this is quite split trilly, but it's not exclusively split trilly. There's more streams
Yeah,
for
yeah.
fun.
It's also like just regular Trilly is very one hand forcing at several times.
Yeah, here's another solo. Have fun with this. Y'all are Rice
Oh
teams.
yeah,
Y'all can handle this shit. I believe in you guys and girls.
yeah. This is rough. At this point, you really just want the chart to end, and you even haven't. And there's still like a third of it left.
Like, you can't tell when this is just gonna end. Like, it's 3 minutes, which is shorter than a lot of April jump stream files, but like the fact that there's literally no breaks, you've got like the exact same amount of time as Ricotta for just playing this jump stream, and it's faster
Yeah,
by
definitely.
14 BPM. It just drags.
Yeah, it's faster and pretty difficult. Oh
Yeah, so
well. Then what is the next chart gonna be?
we're going to be having our Rice hybrid. This is going to be Interroban by Marion. Um,
Yeah.
if you've never heard of Marion, he's a Korean mapper. Maps a ton of Camellia, maps a lot of good hybrids and Ellens, and he thought that he would be a good.
Oh, I see. This is not gonna be a rough, as drastic of a transition from the previous chart, because this is by far the most right-oriented hybrid, I believe. It's gonna be very jump streamy. Ellens are mostly either the force coordination, and you're gonna be seeing it soon enough. The patterns are very self-explanatory. It's the kind of map that is very straightforward, but difficult nonetheless.
Yeah, and I'd say like it's definitely within the likes of DLS Tears or Zdroniger or Paradox if you've ever played those maps. It's just it looks like the LNs don't really intrude aren't really that intrusive, but then you play it and it's like, oh yeah, this is
Yeah,
LN,
these are difficult.
proficient at LNs.
Yeah. Yeah, now we're having unassuming section, and then we're going straight into density. Yeah, there we go. And I'll be prepared to ride this stream until the very end of the chart. Just 220 non-stop broken one measure jump streams with LNs on the side. Just throws everything at you the last quarter or so of the chart.
Yeah, and here's the main course once again, and 4 LNs to spice things up, and we're just about done with the map.
Yeah.
And the goals, you have to be consistent.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a kind of crazy chart because it doesn't even start slow, but it definitely builds up towards the end. So it's draining and backloaded. So get ready for that. Does demand quite a bit of stamina for being 2 minutes long.
Yeah, I just think it's like, well, I would say it's more constant all the way through. It's just really stamina draining, and if you can't read LNs, it just becomes a lot more stamina draining.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
definitely.
Yeah, moving on, we're going to be having our stream pick. This is going to be Close Your Eyes by CRZ Charwa, also known
Yeah.
as Snow PH.
Oh, there's an OPA chart. Let's go. Close your
Yeah,
eyes.
this song is a certified banger. I'm gonna have so much fun every time this map gets fixed.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh, and that was our speed pick. And now we should be having what? An LN?
our Ellen release pick. This
Ooh, let's
is going to be
go.
Sorry Presto by Arcat.
Fun. This is pretty fun, by the way.
Yeah, this. So okay, rice wise, let's talk about this. It's just I would say it's like 180 BPM chord Okay, 180 is in one half quantizations. Now that sounds pretty easy, but there are releases, so and that's where all of the difficulty is.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
and if you're wondering how's gonna there be releases in LN Corjax, just you wait and see. Yeah, there we
yeah,
go. Very cute patterning. It's very chill in terms of pure density, but the releases absolutely keep you on edge like all the time. I think most players would really rather this be like full inverse, probably.
yeah. It looks pretty dense, but that's the thing. It's like kind of the densest you can put it without actually being able to hit it as full inverse. And you really can't treat this like full inverse, or you'll just be dropping slider breaks and 100s more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's quite tough to keep the control on too. Pretty rough.
Yeah.
There's an intermission, but then like after a longish break, we're gonna be having another big section. I like that. And mm, short is in an interesting place, in my opinion. Like, for one, it's very difficult to act, but it's also like I think no question easiest LN physically, like purely in the sense of like keeping your combo and doing and like stamina draining. I think it's like least physically demanding, but also you just gotta be paying attention all the time, especially because of how long it is. Probably one of the more mentally taxing charts of the pool.
Yeah, and you can absolutely do fine in the first half and then just tank your accuracy in the second half just because of the consistency aspect. You really have to just hold your ground and hit these LNs cold. If they know how to hit releases cold. And that's exactly why this is in such late stage.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't have any tricky sections like I believe some previous shots had. I think even Boys in Kaleidosphere had some stuff that was slightly faster than this, but I get luck playing through 3 minutes of this and not finding it at least slightly difficult to keep everything together because you just need a lot of things going right for you to get a good score in match.
Yes. Also, this is 5.7 stars, so it's physically demanding if you just look at the star rating. But
Oh
I mean,
no, I think
it's
this
a legitimately hard
no
release pick.
no
The star
I
rating is
think
actually picking up on its
I
difficulty.
think this chart. I
Yeah,
think this is the most overrated chart in the pool, star rating wise. It is
it
not
is not
5 point
a
whatever.
5.7.
It is not,
All right.
but it's
Anyways,
pretty difficult still.
wow. All right, we're going to be moving on to our next pick. This is going to be our core jack pick. Betrayal of
Ooh,
Fate
this
at
one.
280 BPM. So,
Nice.
this is where the core jacks actually start to get kind of dense and tricky.
Hmm. Let's see then. It's 140, I believe.
It's 140 and it's denser than ultraviolet.
Oh yeah, it looks nasty.
That being said, it's not really, the core jacks don't ever really go on for that long. I think the longest run is like 12 measures, but there's a lot of broken.
Yeah,
and
but they
then
are tough.
great. But on the other hand, if you can hit core jacks, you can absolutely destroy this. And like, the way that you'll lose stamina on this is that, I mean, you won't, how to explain this? It won't be like dense angry core jack. You'll lose because it's a bit speedy.
I see. It's just like the speed starts mattering a lot, not the relative density. Yeah, there's. And this chart does.
Yes, so you saw a pretty dense section right there, but it went on for a pretty short time. So
Yeah, pretty sure
players
time.
can likely combo that if they're efficient.
This can be surprisingly aggressive. Like, it does give you a slight break, but sometimes I find that doing very intense core jacks or jump streams with short breaks in between, like a bunch of high density sections, can be quite draining. And especially this later run that goes on for very long. It is pretty dense with a lot of double hands.
And this is probably going to be one of the more risk picks if you're less stamina oriented. I mean, there are some teams that are really, really physically strong, and they might not fall off on it. So
Yeah,
the
this is
margins are going
pretty
to be pretty
difficult.
close.
But thankfully, it has no Ganyu, so people will not choose Ganyu over Wen.
thank you, Halo. You do not have to say that. Call me out. I have a gun avatar. It's from
This
Atomic
is
Trigger.
this is a direct shot. Let's go. And next up, what will we have?
We're gonna have our Ellen density pick. So this is it's an Ellen density pick. It's 191. It's density. It's not full inverse, but
It's
it's a
hard.
good.
Yeah, let's watch the replay.
Yeah, so this is a collab between me and Penguinosity. It's very much inspired by, something like Yeri Tensei or Sakura Mirage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty nice chart. It does get denser over time, I believe. Like, these sections are already a bit difficult, but here's where it starts. You get out of the trill and get thrown straight into this jump streamy pattern.
Yeah, so I uploaded this back in October, but there are some sections that were a little too wild party, so I did modify some releases to make it just pure density map.
Interesting. Yeah, there we go.
And here's a break before the second TI.
Yeah. Just biding time until the final drop.
Yeah, and this is just kind of the build-up, and I mean, you might get nervous and drop something here, but hopefully you don't. And as we get into this ending section, which has some tricky anchory patterns, I wouldn't say it's too bad, but...
Ooh. And I think this chart kind of covers the whole swath of density. Like, it had an extremely streamy pattern, and then it goes into a more tricky dense one, and then it goes back into streaming with extra density for a really strong last pattern. Also the full inverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, this gets pretty difficult. It ramps up super hard throughout the course of the song.
And it's definitely testing your density. There isn't really that much release stuff that you have to, but that should go unsaid. We're going to be moving on to our mixed consistency pick. This is going to be Isometry by Salted Fish.
This chart, oh my god. This chart starts out so unassuming, and then you're dying halfway through. Like, it is so draining. I don't know. I just don't know where that comes from.
Yeah, it gets surprisingly draining near the end. I mean, okay, so the jump stream is 8 BPM faster than Infinity Range, but it doesn't go on for nearly as long. However, you will still be struggling to hit this map simply because all the bursts, the mini jacks, all the minor technical things, they just kind of add up, and
yeah, absolutely,
it becomes kind of tricky to score on, in fact.
Yeah, the start, as I say, the start is pretty chill. You will not start sensing the danger that this chart poses until about halfway through. Like, yeah, this is where it starts. Like, starts throwing you a few bursts. Oh, this is hard. These rolly stuff, like, that transitions directly into indexy patterns. The start just flows between these jacks and pseudo jump streams than indexy stuff.
Yeah, if you think this is easy to hit compared to Infinity Range, just because it's so much shorter, it's not. Like, you might have stamina, but, these patterns, you're just kind of might be fucked.
Yeah, it just starts picking up. By this point, I was already really tired.
And
Yeah,
here's the stamina.
yeah, it
It's
just goes on with this
easier
crazy
than
jump
Infinity
stream.
Rage, but it's jump stream, and there are bursts interspersed within the jump stream. Well, not now, but there should be
Yeah.
some soon. And this one just keeps on going for longer than you might think.
Yeah, it just never stops. Oh my god, and the speedy too, patterns too. Oh my god.
Yeah, and here's the
This
last part.
part-
Hopefully you don't choke.
This chart is very merciless. Like, there's a very funny thing about it. Where in the description it says that it is around Den 9, and I started this chart like absolutely not believing that was the case, and by 2/3 of it, I was very willing to believe it. It
Yeah.
is just, it's so backloaded. It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun for players. Anyways, we gotta move on. We got 10 more maps. This one is gonna be our SV pick.
Oh,
It's
this
gonna
one.
be Weeble Bobble Nike by Orca.
This time, I have kept a very close look at the SVs instead of as opposed to the other weeks where I waited to be positively surprised. Right now, you're gonna strap yourselves in. You're gonna be in for a rough time with the SVs this week.
Yeah, this is reading. This is definitely a reading oriented pick. And there's some really abrasive bumps in this map. It's like amazing Metroplex, but like 1.5 notches harder. And
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look at this anti-normalized stream. This
kind of reminds me of the
is
stream in Lost Out Melody.
And keeping control on this is surprisingly difficult, especially with how much the SV variates. It never sticks long enough at that SV type, at that reading type, for you to get comfortable with it. And now we're getting into another completely different section, just like that. This is the kind of chart. It just makes you switch your reading modes all over the place.
Let's go. Players are gonna have such a hard time hitting that. Oh my god.
Oh. Yeah. That 1-3 stream is so weird to read. It just forces you to just like interpret the judge line completely differently. And then you have this fast, weirdish section.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're hitting those 1/3, it's like you can only trust the audio.
Yeah, definitely. There's honestly, I didn't even trust the audio. I started just using mnemonics to get through this chart. I'm not even gonna lie. I just picked a random like 8-syllable phrase and I kept repeating it at the tempo that I was supposed to play. Because the song is way too trippy for me to follow.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the... Let's go.
Yeah. The saving grace of this chart, for the players at least, right, is that it has very little true memo. A lot of the things you can just learn to read, like, truly. Oh, also have fun with this.
Yay! Polyrhythm.
Yeah. And if you're thinking that this is scary, stick around.
Yeah, we'll be showing some scary stuff.
Yeah,
that being said,
pretty
it's time to move to our hybrid pick. It's gonna be our second hybrid. It's gonna be Eagle Seeker by Guden.
Banger, by the way.
It's in Abraxas' map set, but it's gonna be Guden's guest difficulty. And this one just it has like similar to Interban in that it's jump stream, but I would say like the sort of hybrid that it tests pretty different in fact. So like you have a pretty rice-oriented section for the first half, and then in the second half, it's like the LNs really start to get like kind of inversey. You have these, it's the shields that definitely start to get in the way with shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would still class this as a more ricey chart, or at the very, very least, it put on the more physically demanding field. But yeah, this chart is pretty difficult. It's pretty dedicated to the rice at first, then it has very intense LNs in the middle, and then it has a final right spike. This is mostly how it goes.
Yeah. But there's not really too much going on in hybrids for this first half, but now before this build up, after this build up, you're gonna see some actual like you're gonna see the right reason why we the hype.
This jump screen is hard, by the way. So a bit of a quiet section before the drop.
Yeah, and here's where the actual hybrids start. Yeah, let's go. These shields are just
they're very nasty. They're like honestly.
And now these
Very streaming.
These LNs get even more intrusive as the jump stream becomes more and more dense.
Yeah,
but here's the end, and it's nothing too bad. It's just that drop that's really difficult.
Yeah. Also, final jack section.
Oh yeah, have fun with that. But like that's rise and nerves, I guess.
Yeah, it is definitely.
So that's going to be our second hybrid, and now we're going to be moving on to our second mixed rice pick. This is going to be Toki Mateable Remix by Shoegazer.
This is hard. This is a hard chart.
So this was featured in Speed of Light 2 quarterfinals.
Yes. Also, it is the low LN version.
Yeah, and so this gets really techy. It's pretty backloaded near the end. However, that being said, it's kind of short, and I would say the pattern is like kind of verging on the jump stream if you just try to forget about the anchors. But and then there's these jacks, of course. But
oh yeah, the coordination aspect of this chart is kind of brutal. Like it is physically demanding, but also you're constantly fighting with how weirdly the patterns flow. It just feels like your hands want to go in every direction, and you just finger lock like crazy.
And these polyrhythms are they're pretty difficult to read. I mean, you can get the hang of it because it almost looks like jump stream. And yeah, it just keeps on going. There's more and more sections as it builds up towards the ending. And
oh yeah. And it's a short song, but it packs a huge punch.
Absolutely. This is like really difficult tech-wise. And
oh my god. These
as you
jacks, man.
Start to fall behind, a little bit behind on those jacks, because it's about reading and it's about like coordinating those columns as you like transition in between jacks. So I would say this is like definitely one of the trickier picks of the pool. It's kind of like how Huey was with the previous round.
Yeah, for sure. This is quite hard to play. I think this is possibly candidate for hardest tech pick for this round. But yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would say it's definitely the hardest.
I see. Next up, we have
our Ellen wildcard. This is going to be an oldie. It's going to be Fox 4 raised by Intelizer.
Ooh, let's go. This chart is fun.
Previous OD was 6. Now this is going to be 7.
it is also very wacky, and you will
Yeah,
see soon enough.
it's basically just Intellizer in a nutshell.
Yeah.
He's patented Intellizer patterns, and I will say that for some players this might be easier than something like roll the dice. But I would say that's kind of a different skill set. Like be really good at Intellizer style density.
Yeah, this is a very intel chart. You're gonna be playing a lot of very confusing to read sections, a lot of split trills. It is just kind of weird chart all around. Also,
Yeah,
this section.
This section is pretty difficult. This
Have
section
fun.
is pretty mind-blockable.
I think it's very interesting because usually you think of these coordination-ish charts as something that that happens in early pools, but it's just so interesting to see a chart this late be basically pure coordination.
Enjoy those decks. Enjoy those reverse shields. I mean, there's only 2 of them.
Oh,
but, yeah.
Dodger's gadget type patterns. Let's go.
And you've got those 2 club density Dodgers gadget patterns. That's fun. Have fun with those. There's some release elements.
This chart is so hard. It makes you like when you hit stuff, you feel like you have like 300 IQ, and then you miss stuff and you think I'm stupid, like I am a baby, and it's just gonna happen so hard. It's very difficult chart to keep your head wrapped around.
Yeah. I mean, like, if it's okay if you're like a rice, if you have like control to play it. I'd say it has like different LN skill than something like roll the dice.
Yeah.
But now we're going to go on to our third mixed pick, and if you're waiting for Camellia in the pool, get ready because we're going to have Magical Energy makes the craziest, strongest quality magical audio #1 by Camellia.
Oh, that's the first Camellia of the entire tournament, right?
Have fun with this. It's not really. Well, I guess we had some of the LNs removed. In fact, we had most of the LNs removed, because otherwise.
Yeah, this would be rough.
Yeah, I wouldn't even like say it's like an LN. I wouldn't even say it's a hybrid with the LNs in. It's just like the proportions are kind of off. But here, enough LNs are removed so that everything just plays like a rice map.
Yeah, that's very definitely right. Yeah, it is a really difficult Jackie jump stream. Like the patterns are hard already, but the jacks are just funny. The burst too.
Yeah, the mini jacks and the breaks are really funny. I think that's like really fun, and the main difficulty is going to come from those jump streams with 1/6 rolled in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
just
those. Mind block on those.
Yeah, just occupies the very specific niche of messy jump stream. I think is how I would categorize this. It is just a strange chart that transitions between normal jump stream, dump style patterns, jack streams, whatever have you.
Yeah, and it's got all your patent lemon guy patterns. If you've played files from Lemon Fruit Sex to like Stinger or I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're very lemon guy oriented. I wouldn't say like it's egregiously lemon guy. It's enough to be fun.
It has his style. That is undeniable. So yeah, it's also somewhat on the longer side, 3 minutes.
Yeah, there's that aspect, but the good thing is that there are a ton of breaks where you can recuperate your stamina and just be able to loosen your hands and cruise your way through these denser parts.
Yeah. Hope you know how to play the easiest inverse.
Yeah, I can't remove all the LNs, but yeah.
Yeah, like that should be trivial for most players, I believe. So yeah, that is not. Oh, as I say it, an LN is missed. That is funny.
That
Like,
transition is like kind of hard. Lol.
fair. But hey, there we go. That is our second of the tech picks.
Yup. Yeah, so that's gonna be the first Camellia in the pool, and it's a banger. Anyways, moving on, we're gonna have our third hybrid, and this is going to be Signal by How to Play LN. This one is less physical than the other hybrids, but it's definitely testing your ability. It's definitely testing your hybrids.
Yeah.
It's short. It doesn't seem to be that much, and heart rating is really low, but it packs quite a punch.
Yeah. Also, this chart is outrageously underrated. It is 4.3 somehow, and these patterns are absolutely brutal. Like, they are surprisingly difficult to read, and they are also surprisingly speedy and difficult to spend on.
This is so true. This is so tricky to hit with the LNs and bursts intertwined between the LNs. It's just so difficult to read if you're not comfortable with the LNs.
It's absolutely stressful. I think these are the hardest LNs in like basically all the hybrids, and quite possibly it's in the like quite possibly the hardest LNs in the hybrids, and it's on the chart with like the lowest star rating outside of the SVs, of course.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This isn't nerfed. This actually kind of got buffed.
Ooh, I see. It's ready.
And this section it's rhythmically easy, but there's some mini jacks that might throw off your control as well as the LNs.
Yeah, this is kind of a break, and now this section isn't. It tightens up immediately afterwards, and now the mini jacks are much more entrenched than the LNs. The LNs are denser, and it just gets really hard to coordinate. It just demands everything from you. This chart is surprising.
Yeah, it's not so bad since like the mini jack is like only 2, and like it's not that. It's near the end of each LN, so it's okay, but it's still pretty tricky.
All right, next up we have
our last mix pick. This is going to be tech. It's a lot of what we saw in the previous pick, but it's just pure tech, and it goes on for a while.
A while, yeah. This chart is kind of heavy, honestly.
So this is going to be testing your jack control, and there's some bursts that you hit, and a lot of it's going to be decided based on those two. But yeah, I would say it's primarily a jump glut control sort of now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's an interesting chart where you're trying to hack a lot of these gracie inconsistent flowy streams, and then you have to pull up your control really hard to actually be able to hit these tough jacks. The whole thing is kind of a balancing act between like flowing through these bursty stuff and having the wrist physical and the control to hit the jacks. And you gotta do this for 3 minutes. This chart absolutely tiresome.
Yeah, And it may look similar to Magical Energy, but this one is a lot more mini-jack oriented. A lot about transitioning any of these mini-jacks into these bursts. It's all about the transition and less about actual stamina. Well, you still have to have stamina for this because it goes on for quite a while. But it's like,
Yep.
it would say like the stamina. It's really techy and yeah.
So right now, it's and just it's so jacky that section. Then you get it comes to a point where the densest sections like that previous one are so rough that you start feeling that like these are breaks, even though you're completely gassed.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this bursts are actually going to be breaks for you because you can combo through those and then you risk missing on the mini jacks. But oh wait, the bursts are also pretty missable.
Yeah, they're very missable. So yeah, this chart is a struggle until the end. It basically does not let up at all.
Yeah.
And there it is. We have specialist. Our last rice pick. Am I right?
That is in fact the last price pick. And
So we'd be going for the final Ellen right now.
yep. This is going to be our second wild card and fourth Ellen pick. This is going to be Extra Galactic by Penguinosity.
Very hard chart, by the way.
Yep. It's not the full version. Full version is a lot harder. This one is already hard enough with lots and lots of shields and mini jack action.
It's Ellen shields, schlong shields. Let's go. You're gonna see it soon enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and this part in the beginning isn't so hard, but it's really in the second half where it starts to really show.
It kind of establishes the basic patterns of these like schlongy streams and the schlong shields, and then it's gonna drop and it's gonna throw everything in your face.
Yeah, it kind of takes these patterns and just puts it on overdrive.
Yeah, the drops are very mean. Yeah, at this point it's already hard.
And the Ellens aren't long enough for this to actually be the hardest part, but when the mini jacks start interfering with those really longer Ellens, that's when it starts to get tricky coordination-wise.
Yeah, these mini jacks are so intrusive for the coordination, and it gets even denser. Like, just goes on. And it starts doing these really messy, really difficult columns to control. You start getting some double jacks double shields if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and oh my, these jacks, like, you think that you can just hit this like jack, but no, there's Ellens attached to those jacks, and it's like, wait, what? Oh, I can't hit those.
Yeah, it's just rough. This is the mind bender in the completely opposite direction. Intelizer shard, for instance, is just very confusing. This one just leaves you like, what am I supposed to hit? It is just hard to read, hard to play. It's full of shields. It's a very difficult chart. And now we're going for the SV, right?
Yeah, this is Halo's very own CD Try.
Hello, everybody. Been waiting a bit for this.
This is a really fun map. It looks really unapproachable, but once you know how to hit this, the pattern just becomes so fucking fun.
Yeah. Most of the chart's gimmick is mostly memorization stuff. Something this tournament has been a bit lacking on, so I kind of decided to pump that up a notch. Get ready.
Yeah, here we go. You just have to like memorize how this song goes. The rhythms are pretty consistent, and those overlapping notes are like fun.
Yeah, they're very difficult. There's a lot of pattern fake outs too.
Those fake normalization
1.0 jump stream just to keep you on your toes.
And I would honestly say like this is pretty comparable to something like Galvanize with these consistent nano things. It's just so fun to play.
Yeah, it's kind of galvanized in that aspect where you just get a lot of sections for you to memorize. Oh, there we go. But it's also something I would say like is a lot based on the jump stream. On the slow jam, I mean. It kind of forces that truncated slow reading that not many people are that bad, and does get pretty hard.
Yeah, this is like 2 stage step up from last round, maybe a bit less, but it's quite big. And if you thought the SVs were lacking last round, they're definitely not lacking now.
Oh yeah. Also, don't miss the last note.
The last quad. Thank you very much.
So yeah, that was the regular pool. And now we're going for the tiebreaker, which
Also,
I have
rip
yet to
990K.
see. Oh
Sorry
yeah,
about
rep
that.
990k.
That person was
8
8
points. 8
up.
points.
Oh, okay, so tiebreaker. Yeah. We got this. Chroma Surge. It's a custom by Mysterion, Penguin, and Yeti. It's a fucking banger.
Ooh, cool. Let's see how this one goes. Promise Orange. Is this from the hardcore Utopia stuff by any means?
I am not sure.
Yeah, because like these albums are absolutely crazy. But hey, there we go. Let's see how this one goes. I've kept my eyes off of the tiebreakers, mainly because I really appreciate the surprise factor. I really want to see what this one has to offer.
Yeah, this one kind of throws you right into the rice patterns at the start, and at the end, it's still going to be rice oriented. But it's not really rice oriented because it's a tiebreaker. It's going to test both your rice and LN ability.
Yeah, there we go.
And here's where the first rice section begins.
Sheesh. Alright. Starting up hard. Damn. Pretty mixed between the Ellens and the Rices already. This was more of an Ellen dominant section, but Rice absolutely nothing to scoff at. And gets done with a lot of schlongs, a lot of intrusive Ellens for the reading.
It's definitely hybrid oriented. Well, okay, so it's rice, but some of them are elongated, but it plays like rice with Ellen inverse, and it's really fun.
Weird combination.
And here's the actual price section. There's still LNs, but there's you're just being tested everywhere. Because after all, it's about getting notes and releasing Tonga. That is the nature of mania. So how to play LN is playing it. Also 2727 moment when you see it.
Oh my god. Come on, man.
Yeah, how to play LN score is absolutely insane. Like 13 on this is definitely not something that I would expect a 4
Oh yeah, that is absolutely bonkers, true. Ooh. Yeah, now the Jackie jump stream just becomes full Jack at this point. Drop the pretends. Ooh.
Yeah, and those jacks are very, very unforgiving.
And that's 190? That's a full 190? Oh my god.
It's like Specialist, but it's on steroids.
Well, at least there's absolutely no doubt that this is the hardest shard in the pool.
It's lower start rate than Starry Presto, but, you know, whatever, start rate. Fucking start rate.
Start rating us. Fuck.
Yeah, this is where the rice gets tricky.
Yeah,
well, the rice
Yeah,
is
it
tricky
gets pretty
before,
hard.
and it was hard now. And those hand transitions can be kind of difficult.
Yeah, they're pretty weird. This shirt is cool. It's just very cool.
I would generally agree. Here's some LNs.
But yeah, definitely.
Enjoy some inverse.
Ooh, just drops that inverse right into you.
And there's even more.
Ooh, this is rough. Weird jump streamy section with a lot of lens. And it's going towards the end, and like, this density has been going on for a while. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just really long, and it's a tiebreaker.
Is this shirt never gonna end? It's going towards 7,000 combo.
I believe it's over 7,000 notes. Yeah.
Wow.
Or I guess maybe it actually is.
Ooh, barely on. It was on pace. It just needed to be a bit more short. But hey, damn.
Yeah.
What a replay, not gonna lie. And what a chart. This is definitely a step up from the pool and the previous tiebreaker. And I'm very interested in seeing what even could the players do on this. Because we've been very familiar to players just smashing TBs we thought were like super difficult. And I'm just very excited for this round in general. Can we have the bracket? Because this round is some banger.
Before we get to the bracket, I just want to just thank all of the mappers for having so many custom maps in line for this. Like there's Halo, there's Orca, and there's everybody who mapped the tiebreakers. There's Penguin. Everybody just came
There has
through.
been you. Yeah. There's just a lot of custom charting done for this round. And thanks everybody who did edits, who did custom chart. The effort is greatly appreciated, and it helps make this pool what it is. And this weekend we're gonna have Peru versus France for the last match in winners before grand finals. And
that's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Then we're gonna have Philippines versus Thailand, match of the remaining Asian teams. Then there's Brazil, Canada on the salty run back, and then we're gonna have the winners of these matches facing off to see who gets a ride to face the loser of Peru France in the grand finals. So crazy games this weekend.
This is something where like I can't see like any one team winning this. Like every team has their own strengths, and
absolutely
a guarantee that you're gonna see some fucking action this.
Yeah, this weekend is gonna be positively crazy. Highly recommend you guys check out the games. But for now, this has been the 4-digit Mania World Cup 4 showcase for finals. I'm Halo, been here with you. Thank you all for watching.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Yeah, goodbye. We're signing off.